Hey guys, welcome back to XDA. Today I'm going to show you guys a process on how to root your Xperia Z2. We're going to be changing the firmware on our device and then rooting the device after we're done with that part. Let's check it out. Okay, so the first thing we want to do here is download a few files to be able to start this entire process. We need a program called Flash Tool to be able to flash a firmware. We need to download a version of the firmware that you're comfortable with. We also need to download a rootkit to be able to go through the rooting process of this. So we'll take care of the flashing the firmware first. I have you guys here, and there's a link in the description below the video that gives you access to all of the known firmwares that are available for the Z2. Now this is the 6503 model. There's also 6502. The 6503 is the one that ships and I have access to, and that's why we're using this. The latest firmware that I have on my device is the 1711A0402. And that version of the firmware does have a flashing, has a root process for it, but this is intended to show you guys a process that even if you do get upgraded to a newer firmware that does not have the ability to get rooted, you can always downgrade, and that's what this process is. Next thing we want to do is download Flash Tools. So I already downloaded my files. Flash Tools is a Windows program for me. I installed that, and but we're going to be using that to flash our software. And the next thing is the actual firmware itself. I chose the unbranded version, the UK, just to make sure that the language on the device, once I flash it, is in English and I'm able to use it. Next thing we're going to do here is launch the actual Flash tool itself. And in the actual program itself, once you install it, there's a folder that's called drivers. And the reason why you want to look into that is because you need to install the Flash tool drivers as well as the Z2 drivers from that folder before you go through the process with the device itself. Right now the device itself is going to be wiped, so anything information that you have on this, make sure you back it up or remove it off the device and make sure you start fresh. Next thing we're going to do is power down our device. Now at the same time, we notice on the left side it says device disconnected. It's going to recognize the device, and if we have the drivers installed correctly, everything will go smoothly. On the device, hold volume down and then connect it. And keep holding the volume down till you actually see the device saying connected in flash mode. And we'll take out the watch here. Next thing we're going to do here is, there's two things we need to do. One is download actually the firmware itself, as I said, I'd already done that myself, and put it into the firmware folder within the application. That's the easiest way for it to recognize it right away. So we'll move these folders to the side. Now, on this point, you use the lightning rod on the top left, and you keep it in flash mode. At this point, you'll notice that I actually found the version and it says unbranded. That's the one I downloaded. Don't need to check anything or uncheck anything else. Just at this point, just hit flash. The process will take about 5 to 6 minutes. We won't see any progress on the actual device, so don't look for that. Just look for the process or progress on the actual computer itself. Once we get to the point that it's done, it will let you know, and then you can reboot the device. At this point, I'm just going to skip over to the last second again. It takes about 5 to 6 minutes. Okay, so the process took us all the way to the end. Now we're done with the actual flashing of the device itself. It tells us that we can go ahead and disconnect the device and boot it up. Now, keep in mind, again, anytime you flash a new ROM or new firmware or anything like that, the first boot's going to be a little bit longer than normal, so just be aware of that. The process as far as we need for the Flash Tool software, we're done. All we need to do now is actually wait for the device to turn on. We need to do a couple of things before we move on to the next step, but in the meantime, as the device is booting up, we're going to switch over to the the community rootkit tool. Download that, save it. The version is version 0.01. 0.02 is not be made actually because they found a different method to flash or at least get root on other devices. Again, the process that I'm taking you guys through today is to help you get access to root. Even if your device gets upgraded to a point where there is no known exploit to be able to actually get root, this will always get you root, and you might be basically one firmware version behind depending on where you are. Download and save the files themselves and put them in a folder and then just save them, and then we'll go to the next step once we're done with the device. As you can see here on the right, the device actually is booting up. It's just going to go through the setup. We'll set it up one time. We need to make sure to turn on USB debugging and unknown sources in the actual device itself so that we can actually allow the process to start for the next step. So the device booted up. We have access to the device itself. We've restarted it since we actually finished the flashing process. The main thing you want to make sure is follow the steps within the application itself, and it'll tell you when to do it. Now we actually have the device. It's started. This is basically a fresh new device with the UK firmware that's installed on it. The process now needs to take us to the next level, and we're going to go under Settings. Okay, we'll make sure that the firmware that we wanted to flash is built in, 55. Now to get the developer option turned on, keep tapping on here till it tells you are a developer. Step back once. You'll notice that the developer option is turned on. Go down, check the box that says USB debugging. We'll go back, and then next we need to go under Security. And here we are, unknown sources. And this will allow us to complete the process on the device flashing, and we'll go through from there. Overall, that's all you really need to do on the device itself as far as configuration to get the process started here. Okay, we'll go through. We'll wait for the process. Okay, now we're getting the same thing one more time. We just need to go Service Info, Configuration. This time it did work for us. I think restarting the device did fix that issue for us. We go Home, crash the application, go home again, on the computer, spacebar, go through the process, back into the same menu, Service, Configuration. We got kicked out. Crash it one more time, go home. And then on the device, you do that one more time, and it's going to basically back up the TA partition, remove the actual app, and that's it. At this point, all you need to do is disconnect the actual device and restart it. And the restart is actually part of the process itself, so that it actually gets to finish up what it's trying to do. Once the device is fully off, turn it back on. Once the device is fully turned on, we'll be able to install Titanium Backup and test and make sure that we have a root access. Now, just as a heads up, there's many ways of actually rooting the device itself. So you could definitely go into a later version of the firmware if you'd like, or you can actually stick to the version that I'm showing you guys here. But either way, both will work. So the device boots up. We'll go into the app drawer. Now we have Super SU already installed on our device. This time I'm going to go ahead and set up an account so I can download the actual application off the Google Play Store. And this actually one of the applications that we're going to talk about it later in the mod, actually, the special mods. Well, what are the things that you could do with the device once you have it rooted? And once you have it installed, go in. It's asking us for root permission. We'll say grant, and voila. Device rooted, everything is done. The process takes approximately about 10 to 15 minutes roughly. Obviously the video is condensed so you don't get to see the real timeline part of it. But overall, just follow the step-by-step process, and remember having the crash the application and then going into the option. If for any reason you click the information and you're not kicked back to the main menu, such as the menu of the process is supposed to, just restart the device, don't worry, and it'll work through for you. All in all, hope you guys like this video. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions or comments. Like and subscribe to this channel, like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys soon. Thank you.